Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please let me know if you can hear me. Um, I'm bringing you breaking news out of Jackson, Mississippi. Um, IHL decided to release a press release today that they're going to meet today. I've actually never seen them do that before, where they just um, randomly say, "Hey, we're meeting today." So I happened to check. Um, this is really, really weird. I happen to be meddling on Instagram, as I'm always doing. And all of the sudden, I see somebody say, "Hey, IHL, what are you guys doing?" And I see that they have a press release today, that they're meeting. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. And I'm also going to drop the link so that you can pull it up for yourself. This is directly from the IHL website. So I'm like CNN, I'm breaking the news. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at this press release. I don't even know when they posted this. It says the Board of Trustees of State Institutions of Higher Learning. Let me see if I can make this bigger. So in the event that you can't click the link, you'll be able to see it. Let's see. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and break the breaking news that they're having a meeting. Now, I don't think it's going to be streamed live. So basically, we'll be getting experts, or we'll get the information from whoever is inside that actual meeting. The Board of Trustees of State Institutions of Higher Learning will hold a special called meeting on Friday, November 3rd, 2023 at noon, so basically 5 minutes ago, for the purpose of discussing a personnel matter concerning the search for the next president of Jackson State University. Members of the board may participate in the meeting via teleconference or an online meeting platform. So this is basically, because they're saying that the board can participate online, what that means is that they weren't expecting to have a meeting today. This was called last minute. It says members of the public and media may attend the meeting in the IHL boardroom. It gives the address. An executive session may be held in accordance with the Opens Meeting Act. So that means that they may have some sort of meeting first that allows the media and the public to attend, and then they'll close it. But for this particular matter, this is being held last minute, to the point where not even the board members knew about it. That's why they're saying you can attend by logging on and doing basically a Zoom call. A public body may hold an executive session pursuant to this section for one or more of the following reasons. It says transaction of business and discussions regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position, or termination of an employee holding a specific position. The exemption provided by this paragraph includes transaction of business and discussion in executive session by the Board of Trustees of a public hospital regarding any employee or medical staff member or applicant for medical staff privileges, and any such individual credentialing, health, performance, salary, raises, or disciplinary action. The exemption provided by this paragraph includes the right to enter into executive session concerning a line item in a budget which may affect the termination of an employee or employees. All budget items shall be considered an open meeting, and final budgetary adoption shall not shall not be taken in executive session. Okay, let me go ahead and go to one of the press there that's actually in attendance today at the meeting. I'm going to go to you live, and this is what it looks like. And this is Molly Minta. She says, I'm here at IHL for a special called meeting about the Jackson State presidential search. Every single trustee is attending virtually, meaning there's no opportunity for reporters to pose questions to them about the future president of the university. So this could have been done intentionally. We're just going to tune in to Molly Minta, and I'm going to give you updates. I'm also going to go ahead and copy and paste her information so that you can also go to her page and stay up to date on what's going on. She says, Kim Gillespie, the interim communications director, says she doesn't know any more than what's in the press release about the topic of IHL's meeting today. It is 12:03 and the trustees have immediately called a motion to go into executive session. So basically, they said that the press could come and then they immediately go into executive session. So what that means is we don't even know what they're talking about right now, and we won't know what they're talking about. Let's go back over what's in the meeting that they're calling today. So basically, Molly Minta doesn't have any more information either because they've already called it into executive session. And so being that they placed the Opens Meeting Act on this particular press release, it makes me believe that there is either, and I'm going to go ahead and say allegedly or pure speculation, but the fact that they're calling this particular meeting, it says in the reasons why they're able to is a transaction of business and discussion regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position or termination of an employee holding a specific position. Because we know that this has nothing to do with anything medical. We know this has nothing to do with a budget. So it's not a budget. It doesn't have anything to do with medical or hospital. So the only thing that I can think of is this first line right here. Transaction of business and discussion regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position or termination of an employee holding a specific position. Those are the only things that I can think of. And they immediately, this is what I want to know. What's going on? I will say this. Dre and Miss Donna have been on JSU search behind these past couple of days. But the fact that they don't have anybody in the room and it's purposely done like that. So they purposely have them do a virtual meeting so that the press cannot ask them any types of questions. So either a board member is getting removed or what's going on? Uh-oh. It says the Jackson State. Okay, so maybe they're trying to remove a board member. I think they're trying to maybe possibly remove a board member. That would be the only thing that makes sense. I'm going to put the word allegedly behind it, just to make sure that you guys understand that this is allegedly. The Jackson State in him came out, y'all. Stephen Cunningham held an emergency call with JSU Search last night and brought out the allegations of members being influenced by Tate Reeves to intentionally stall the announcement and process. Shit is hitting the fan. So I don't know if they are, it's just shady that if that particular allegation is true, and the IHL held an emergency meeting today, and then they immediately called it into session. And as we looked at the Opens Meeting Act, and it said a public body may hold an executive session pursuant to this for one or more of the following reasons. So we're going to go through the reasons that they can call an emergency session or an executive session, and then you can cross out some of the things that you don't think that it's about. Okay. So this is regarding specifically the presidential search at Jackson State. Transactions of business and discussions regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position, or termination of an employee holding a specific position. The exemption provided by this paragraph includes transactions of business and discussion in executive session by the Board of Trustees of a public hospital regarding any employee or medical staff member or applicant for medical staff privileges, and any such individual's credentialing, health, performance, salary raises, or disciplinary action. The exemption provided by this paragraph includes the right to enter into executive session concerning a line item in a budget which may affect the termination of an employee or employees. All other budget items shall be considered in open meetings, and final budgetary adoption shall not be taken into executive session. So, just looking at this paragraph, we know it's not about a budget. It has nothing to do with the budget, so we can exit that out. We know it's not about anything dealing with a hospital or medical staff, because this is about IHL. So this is the only piece of the executive session that we can talk about that points to what is going to be discussed. Transactions of business and discussions regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position, or termination of an employee holding a specific position. And the basically, more than likely, they might be getting a new chair. Which I don't know if you can remove somebody because they don't agree. And let me go ahead and pull up my old I did a presidential watch. So let's go over that again. Because I actually have pictures of the board members. So these are the search committee, the Jackson State Presidential Search Committee. Dr. Stephen Cunningham, he's the chair. And he is a board certified diagnostic radiologist, a full partner and current president of Comprehensive Radiology Services in Hattiesburg. He's a graduate of Jackson State University. Dr. Ormella Cummings, she serves as Chief Strategy Officer for North Mississippi Health Services. She facilitates the evidence-based planning process. Bruce Martin, he was appointed to the board by Governor Phil Bryant, and his term expires in 2027. G. Ogletree, he was appointed to the board of Bryant in 2008. By Bryant in 2018, and his term expires in 2027. Hal Parker was appointed to the board by Bryant and reappointed by Governor Tate Reeves in 2021 for a term to expire in 2030. So these are the board members. And then Stephen Cunningham is the chair. And if we are going to try and figure out what is going on, why are they calling an emergency session? It makes me believe that something went down within the last 24 to 48 hours, which we've definitely been pressing them on social media with several retweets, and with Dre leading the front line on Twitter, trying to get any type of information. Why is it taking so long for them to announce? And are they stalling the announcement? Information. Why is it taking so long? Are they stalling the announcement because they think there's going to be some backlash in the community? The fact that they went into an emergency session means that they're terminating someone or some type of disciplinary action. That's what I think it is. And the reason why I say that is because why is it so? I talked about that most of these processes are in fact secretive because they basically utilize these search firms, and a lot of people don't want their names revealed if they're not going to get the job because they want to be able to submit their names to other jobs. So they utilize that as an excuse for not revealing any names. So I'm going to go over the timeline real quick. Again, this is our current acting president. She did say that she was not included in the last bit. So this is the timeline. The board search committee chair was named in March, on March 23rd, 2023. They had some listening sessions. with the faculty, with students, and then the community on what type of president that they wanted. This is basically the timeline that we have left, which is on October 6th, they released an announcement via the media that on Founders Day, our president would be announced. And then on October 10th, they made an announcement that they're not going to be making any further announcements about the Jackson State president. So now we have had no type of information coming out. Nothing has been shared. And then today, they just randomly created the board meeting today. And on Twitter, there seems to be the consensus that they're going to have a new chair of the committee by 1 o'clock. And it looks like the meeting has been adjourned as of 1:23. And the next meeting that they will have is Wednesday at 11, which, as we all know, is going to be after the election. Wednesday at 11. That's the information that we have right now. So they had an emergency session and they called it immediately into the executive session. So we don't actually know what was shared. And at 1:20 or 12:23 Central, they've adjourned the meeting and the announcement will come on Wednesday at 11. This is unprecedented for searches. It's really odd that they're being so like I do know that they are supposed to be secretive to a certain extent. And it says they plan to reconvene on Wednesday at 11 a.m. A JSU alum named Kenneth asked him a few questions as he was leaving. So the notice really meant nothing. So it's basically as everybody had stated, which is that they were planning on stalling the announcement until after the president was elected. Or not president, I'm sorry, excuse me, the governor. So after the governor race is over, which is this coming Tuesday, they're going to reconvene Wednesday at 11. And now we have absolutely no information, no update. We still don't know anything about what's what. There is the out of the trustees attending, everyone's virtual. So the reporters didn't have a chance to actually ask any questions. This is the sum of the meeting. 12:03, the trustees immediately called a motion to go into executive session. At 12:19, they went out of executive session, and now they're adjourning the meeting. They plan to reconvene on Wednesday at 11. It says Kim Gillespie also addressed the rumors that Governor Tate Reeves asked the committee to delay its decision until after the election. She said, "Not that I'm aware." Mm, 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 mm. I'm going to drop my StreamYard in case anybody wants to come up and discuss what just happened. Um, where do we go from here? Um, I mean, it looks like it's being announced just as it's been on the internet, which is that Governor Tate Reeves wanted to delay the search until after the election. That was the rumor that was going on. And I don't think that we're seeing any changes. I also wanted to share this post by Dre. Now, Dre does do a lot of like funny, commentary, but it looks like he's been spot on when it comes to the president search. This meeting is illegal. They are required to give the public 7-day notice, but the emergency meeting they had last night went left. Don't be surprised if Stephen Cunningham is removed as the chair of JSU Search. I'm told he found his Lynch Street voice last night. To be a meeting that was that quick, there was a meeting before the meeting. This meeting was just to make it official. No meetings have debate that fast. And that's what Dre is saying, that there was an emergency meeting actually last night. And based on what was put out in this press release, you can see that the only thing that could have been happening right now, if you read this paragraph, it talks basically about the reasons that um IHL is able to call an executive session, which means that it's private. And the reasons are for budget items that could affect the termination of employees or an employee. This is about the presidential search. So we know it's not about a budget item. And then you can also call executive session if it's dealing with a public hospital, which at this point in time, we know that this is about Jackson State's presidential search. So we know it has nothing to do with the public hospital or medical staff members or applicants for medical staff privileges. So this has nothing to do with medical. The first sentence is what I think that this particular session was. Transaction of business and discussions regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position or termination of an employee holding a specific position. So that's what that was about. And when Roy asked, what does Tate Reeves have to do with the selection of a JSU president? Well, the IHL trustees, committees, anybody that's they are actually appointed by the governor. So if you read these line items for the various people that are appointed to the board, it will basically say, like, Hal Parker, which is the last gentleman in the slides, or excuse me, on the slide, he's the fifth picture. He was appointed by Phil Bryant and reappointed by Governor Tate Reeves. G. Ogletree was appointed by Phil Bryant. Bruce Martin was appointed to the board by Phil Bryant. So if you 2 + 2 = 4, you have 3 out of the 5 board members on the search committee who are either appointed by Phil Bryant or reappointed by Tate Reeves, which means that their loyalty lies with the Republican Party. So, making sure that we say allegedly. Allegedly, Cunningham is out as chair. Mind you, Stephen Cunningham was the only Jackson State University alum that was appointed as the search committee chair to be on the search. There is a possibility that he was removed. This makes sense that somebody, because that's what it says on the press release. On the press release, it says an executive session can be called regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position or termination of an employee holding a specific position. So this, out of all the reasons that you can call an executive session, this makes sense that Steve Cunningham is out as chair. That would make me even more suspicious, nervous, and scared that the only person that we had on the board was removed. And we're going to just go back to Dre's Twitter, just because he basically is going down the line for what exactly happened. So basically at 11:19 a.m., around 11 o'clock, they made the announcement that there's going to be a public meeting, which is not giving anyone enough time to come to the meeting. They had an emergency call last night and there was a lot of arguing going on. So something is going on. Either they already know who the president is and they're just stalling making the announcement, or they're going to flip the script and it's not going to be who they thought it was going to be. I'm just kind of I think they're dropping the T on who the president is. Oh, you are lying. I cannot. I will not. Is that who is supposed to be allegedly? So I'm going to get ready to share who allegedly the new president is. So, Mr. G, it's not so much a problem with it being a white president as it is what type of background does that president have? Um, when the allegations surrounding Hank Bounds was out there, Hank Bounds is a graduate of the University of Southern Mississippi, um, as well as another Mississippi school. And there has been repeatedly over the years a trying to take over Jackson State University, making it the University of Mississippi at Jackson. That's just what it is. And so I think the question is, right, and everybody that keeps saying that all these other presidents haven't been working out, you do realize that the people that have put them into power is IHL. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes to see if anything else drops out the sky regarding this particular search, if there's any other news that drops from a media outlet, or if Molly Minta comes back with any type of informations. Um, hmm. I don't want to I do not want to put out the name right now, because I don't think that that will be constructive. I don't want to be like TMZ. I want to be SheLovesThee. So I'm not going to put out the name right now, but what I am going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over the timeline. um and then I'm going to see if there's any more updates regarding if they were able to interview anybody. Since everybody was at the house, it's going to be hard to determine what exactly happened. But based off of the press release, it looks like they removed somebody or terminated somebody from their position. So for right now, we're just going to go over and we're going to wait to see if anything else comes out. But the fact that there's a possibility that one of the board members was removed from their position, that's not a good look. No, I'm not going to be like TMZ, Jeremiah. So Mr. G, there's nothing wrong with having a white qualified president, but you would have to think about not even just white, black too. Any president, are they qualified? Do they meet the needs and what Jackson State is looking for? And so if you go to the IHL website where it says JSU presidential search, I'm going to drop this in the chat. It has basically the characteristics of what Jackson State's president should be like. What are the qualities and qualifications that they look for? No, race is not an issue, but when we're talking about leading a historically Black college and university, we have to think about what does that look like, to be able to interact and understand the constituents or the students that you're leading. Understanding the historical significance of HBCUs, understanding the diverse students, the rich history. What type of president would know how to lead that? So Jackson State University is committed to core values, tradition, and tradition is really a big thing. Accountability, learning, nurturing, service, and responsibility. What are the strategic plans that they have for Jackson State University? The importance of athletics and alumni. Listening to the alumni is very important. So whatever the alumni, when they have those listening meetings, what they want to see in a president, the board listening to that is more important than someone saying, I'm just going to elect who I want to elect. Because those other presidents that they chose, those were on their own. Like the board knew that Bynum had some shady past or some not so good marks on him. They did not actually want Bynum to be the president. The alumni didn't. And the board chose Bynum. And you keep on saying that they had a chance, but you do realize that if you know that somebody has some issues, why wouldn't you put them? And you're saying that, but Bynum literally donated to Governor Tate Reeves. You do know that, right? Bynum donated to Governor Tate Reeves. They just recently released a spreadsheet of all the people that donated to Governor Tate Reeves' campaign. And the premise was that people that donate to Governor Tate Reeves for the 1.4 billion, the top campaign contributors netted 1.4 billion in state contracts or grants from agencies the governor has overseen since he took office in 2020. So basically they compiled a list of this, mind you, he was lieutenant governor as well at some point in time. And if you look on the website right here, you can find in here, let me see if I can find Bynum. I'm going to copy and paste this right here. But Willie Bynum and his wife were one of the contributors to Tate Reeves' campaign. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Bynum made a donation in order to get that presidency. Basically, if you donate to my campaign, then you can get the position. I'll make sure that I put in the good word for you so that you can be president of Jackson State University. So I would be careful when making those assumptions that the Black people that were appointed to Jackson State were appointed to them because they cared about Jackson State. If we dig a little bit deeper, we find out that there could be ties to Tate Reeves. It's not just a case where someone was appointed. So, and mind you, this is a state that has purposely um, not given quality funding and adequate support to the sheriff's office, as well as the Jackson Police Department, as well as the court system in Jackson and Hinds County. They have not given them adequate support on purpose, denied adequate funding, and then tried to create their own complex and their own judicial system, which has been deemed unconstitutional. And I think that's why a lot of people did not want for um, the interim president to become the permanent president, because some pointed out that she's a big supporter of Tate Reeves. So I am pretty much I think at this point, with the way that the search has went, I feel like Wednesday all hell is gonna break loose. The reason why I say that it's going to break loose is because what are you guys arguing about? If you guys have already chosen who the person is going to be, you've already voted. Why is there a need for an emergency executive session? There was allegedly an emergency call last night and it went left. But if you've already chosen a president, why would things go left? If you've already made that final determination on who is going to be the president of Jackson State University. And I don't it's been so secretive, so I don't think people realize what's at stake here for a president. So we if you get the wrong president in in a position where they're over Jackson State, they will advocate for budget cuts instead of advocating for more money and more funding. Can you imagine being underfunded and the solution that the president presents to you is we have to make budget cuts instead of saying we need to hold the state of Mississippi accountable and we need funding. So there's a reason why you have to be careful what type of president you put in that power. We need to cut away some of these programs, or we need budget cuts versus we're underfunded, extremely underfunded, and we need the correct funding. We need our own water system. So if you put somebody in a position who's a yes man or a yes woman, they're going to make excuses for you, Tate Reeves, or whoever is that governor, for not making sure that we have adequate funding, for not making sure we have our infrastructure. We couldn't get approval for McAllister Whiteside to get the upgrades that's needed. We need millions of dollars to bring that particular dorm to code, and that is causing strains on access to housing for Jackson State. And so this is really bad, and people are trying to brush it off, but the implications for them going into closed session, and based off of what it says on there, it looks like they're speaking about a position, about someone who's in a position to possibly be removing them or terminating. Um, this is a report from Ross Adams from WAPT, and he basically says that an IHL spokesman told us the search timeline has no connection to what's happening in the upcoming election. IHL board convened special called meeting to discuss personnel matter regarding employment of a person for a specific position at Jackson State University. So, according to Ross Adams from WAPT, IHL board convened special called meeting to discuss personnel matter regarding employment of a person for a specific position at Jackson State University. The board then voted to immediately go into executive session to discuss the matter. What is going on? Why would you need to go into a special session to discuss secretly about somebody? Yeah. So this isn't looking too good, y'all. And he's saying that it's about a personnel matter, but we know that it's specifically about the Jackson State search. And this is what the board looked like today. The board meeting that they had, or the trustee meeting. There's nobody there. There is absolutely nobody there. So nobody knew what was going on. They probably just got a text message, maybe not even an hour prior to the meeting. And that's it. Like, So if it's a personnel matter, then based off of what the press release said, somebody's getting removed, or it says discussions regarding employment or job performance of a person in a specific position, or termination of an employee holding a specific position. And they're going to reconvene on Wednesday. Miss Betty, the emergency meeting was held in that location, but it was held online. So they did like a Zoom call. I don't know why they would have to stall for Tate Reeves in order to make that announcement. I don't see what a good way is to end this live, other than I guess we're just going to have to wait until Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Luckily, on Wednesday at 11, I don't have class. So that means that Wednesday at 11, I will be live. I might go live at like 10:45 Central Time, Central Standard Time, and we'll be able to reconvene, and we'll see who our next president is. If you have not had a chance to look at the other presidential search, I basically kind of go over how they conduct presidential searches in the state of Mississippi. Um, you can, if you're not a member of my channel, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. You can also make a donation to the channel. It goes directly back into the channel to pay for the StreamYard and Canva and anything else associated with the channel. If I hear any more like breaking news, I will definitely go live. I think I should be having, outside of the game this weekend with Texas Southern and Jackson State, I do think that we need to talk about the governor debate that transpired the other day. That's an important topic that needs to be discussed. It says, do you think there'll be naming the president will be held after? So from what I've been told, that they've already completed their particular search. They've already chosen who it is supposed to be. So I don't know why they would have held up on that particular announcement. So I do think that they were saying that whoever the governor gives his blessing for to become the next president, make no mistake, presidential appointments for the schools in the state of Mississippi, they're controlled by IHL, and those board of trustees and those members are appointed by the governor. So whoever they choose is very much so someone that the governor approves of. No, Jay, because you blocked him. He's not coming on my channel anymore. You blocked him or somebody blocked him or put him in timeout. So I don't think Dre is on here to drop the tea. We just have to keep looking at his YouTube. And from what I'm told, the decision has already been made on who the president of Jackson State University is. I'm not sure what they were arguing about. Unless they were arguing about making the announcement. That's the only thing that I can think of as to why would you delay the announcement if you already know who it is? Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button if you're not or have not done so yet. Hit the subscribe button. And if I find out any other breaking news updates, it'll be like CNN with the breaking news. I'll bring it to you. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you next time.